A gloriously sunny Silverstone circuit in Northamptonshire for the revival of the BRDC International Trophy. This weekend, the trophy will be contested by the drivers of the Wera Tools F4 British Championship, certified by FIA. Welcome back to Silverstone, everybody. Martin Haven and Josh Barrett ready to watch the action. Carl's already on the formation lap here in the most idyllic conditions. And Josh, this is going to be a three-race weekend for these drivers. The International Trophy will be presented to the winner of race 3, a trophy that goes back to 1948 and the fight 49, and the first ever winner, Alberto Ascari. So a prestigious trophy, but critically for these young men, of course, championship points on offer.
Absolutely right. It's very much that prestigious award. Expect to invite that into the championship this weekend, but those championship points on offer for all three races, and a championship which has been very wide open. There have been 9 races and there have been 7 different winners. Only Dries Van Langendonck and Wherrell have won more than once this season, and there have been 15 drivers that have been on the podium already, which is quite remarkable. The championship is so competitive. Everyone in qualifying was separated by just a couple of seconds on the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, which in years gone by would have never been heard of.
Only in Formula 1, yes. I said young men and women in this competition, of course, and actually part of the status of what's going on here is the fact that there is a duo of Red Bull Junior drivers here. So this is not by any judgment a national championship backwater. This is a place where young drivers can be placed to see how they fare. Air temperature 25 degrees Celsius. They're probably glad they weren't racing here last weekend, where it was north of 30 degrees. I mean, this is proper continental summer weather here at Silverstone.
Yeah, the championship was in competition at Snetterton last weekend, so I'm sure some of these drivers from overseas will be wondering what this is all about. This isn't what the British weather's supposed to be about. But yeah, great day, huge crowds up on top of the Escapade. I think that's on the restaurant, isn't it? Not too many people are eating at this point. Looking forward to round 10
well, in
of
fairness,
the F4 British
it's quarter to 3 in the afternoon, so after this it'll be tea and scones, won't it? They've had lunch and you know, something suitable to cool them down. Not many iced lollies on view, actually, I have to say. I'd be definitely partaking of that, but yeah, great viewing spot there. They'll see them come out of Copse Corner because we're using the old Grand Prix circuit layout. So I mean, again, you know, this is sort of harking back to, well, not quite 1949. It was a very different layout there, but the 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties era of this circuit. So you talked about multiple podium finishers, Wherrell and Dries Van Langendonck, and they are on 2nd and 4th positions on the grid. We are waiting for our pole sitter, though, George Proudford-Nalder, waiting to arrive. The team beckoning him in from Virtuosi Racing.
George's first pole position in the championship from qualifying, the Australian, who raced in Ginetta Juniors last year, has moved up into British F4 for this season, as so many drivers have.
And you saw Theo Palmer there, who lines up on the 3rd place on the grid. Theo run by High Tech Motorsport. So many illustrious teams in junior single-seater racing, the likes of High Tech, newcomers Rodin, and also Fortec Motorsport, who have been running younger drivers for the better part of 3 decades and more now. So lots and lots of talented teams and lots of talented young drivers as well. So here's our poleman then, George Proudford-Nalder, as you say, the Australian, racing here in the UK and looking to try and take this first critical step on the ladder. And I'm sure all of them ultimately hoping to end up in the smallest of the F1.
And so many drivers who went on to win the World Championship have won the BRDC International Trophy, so adding your name onto that tomorrow could be so important for the career.
Yeah, Alberto Ascari, the very first to win it, became the first ever Formula 1 world champion, and the likes of Graham Hill, Jackie Stewart, so many, Jim Clark over the years have won the International Trophy. For many, many years, it was a non-championship Formula 1 race, to which all the Grand Prix drivers, there were as many as 4 of them in the season in the UK at one stage. Then it became a race for Formula 2, then for Formula 3000, with winners like Sebastian Bourdais here at Silverstone taking the International Trophy, and then GP2, and has not been presented now for over a dozen years, so it's a brand new trophy that will be held aloft by the winner of the final race of the weekend here tomorrow afternoon. But first, we have to deal with two other championship qualifiers, and all of these are going to be absolutely critical for these young drivers.
Biggest ever grid today for the championship, with 32 cars here at Silverstone. We had 30 earlier in the year, which was a record at that point, but now even larger grid with some additions this weekend from drivers from the F1 Academy, including Emma Felbermayr, who I'm sure you've commentated on both her father and her grandfather.
Yes, indeed. Yes, very much a motor racing family. Very much a motor racing family.
Looks like her car this weekend is in the Felbermayr Porsche livery from years gone by. So
yeah, so that's the family colours, the light blue, dark blue, and I'm really pleased to see that tradition continues. As with, you see a red and white car and you go, oh, that's a Fortec. White car, red side pods. Yeah, Richard Dutton's team have always run the cars in those colours, and so makes life very easy. It's one of the half dozen Fortec runners amongst all the others.
So cars have moved away on the green flag lap. At this point, the timing screen says the 20 minutes has started, so not sure if that is accurate or not. We'll see as the race goes on, but the car's onto their formation lap behind the British F4 pace car, the Lotus Emira. Yeah, it's reset now, hasn't it, on our screens as well as elsewhere?
Would normally only be the case if we're starting behind the safety car because of weather. We have got weather, but it doesn't really suggest itself as a safety car start, does it?
Wonder how important the start might be here, Martin. But the grid headed by George Proudford-Nalder after setting the best second lap time in qualifying.
And Lewis Wherrell on the outside, the front row of the grid, car number 10. So you'll be looking for his bright red highlights. Then row 2, Theo Palmer, the silver high-tech car, and the orange McLaren colours of Dries Van Langendonck. Row 3, Ethan Jeff Hall with more blue than the car alongside him, Joseph Smith. Adam Al-Azhari will line up in 7th ahead of Jarrett Clark, with Timo Jungling and Jabba Al-Sabah rounding out the top 10. So Cameron Nelson and Chara Bettig on row 6 of the grid, row 7, Ethan Lennon and Cole Hewitson. Cash Felber, one of two brothers in the field, and Leon Hedfors, the Swede, ahead of Ethan Carney and Kit Belofsky. Scott Kin Lindblom, one of our Red Bull juniors, ahead of Tommy Harfield, Henry Sadiq and Henry Mercier. And then on row 12 of the grid, Alba Larsen and Emma Felbermayr. Ella Lloyd lines up 25th ahead of Vergaard Clementson. Jackson Volney ahead of the Georgian driver Mate Kobakhidze, and then Alfie Slater, Daniela Sutton, Roman Felber and An Che-sun, the Chinese driver, will be the 32nd and final car on the grid.
Some very quick drivers near the back of the grid, which shows how competitive the championship is this year. Tommy Harfield, who goes from 20th on the grid, finished 4th in the championship 1 year ago. So disappointing, I'm sure, for him what happened this morning in qualifying to be so far down the grid. But he's not the only one really down there. You've got Alfie Slater, who's only got 3 cars behind him in qualifying. But Alfie, younger brother of Freddie, who's might be someone you've seen in Formula 1 before Terry, been much longer, but Alfie had a very good Formula Winter Series a few months ago, so he'd been mega disappointed to qualify 29th, but they will be very keen to make their way up the order, but only the top 10 drivers will score points using the Formula 1 point system.
Now, worth pointing out as the cars go through shot, the yellow number plate backing to the number, those are our 11 rookies in the field, and they can have done no more than 3 car races during the course of 2025. Some of our rookies have actually raced Formula 4 this season, particularly in the Winter Series or Middle East Championships, but they are rookies as not having done more than just those tender few races last season. So it is a big old grid. All of the chassis are the French-built Tartus with the identical engines and tyres. And so this is very much about the driver and the team working to get the best out of each other and out of their machines. And there is the final car on the grid, and at Si Shun, the Chinese driver, and at the front, Virtuosi's George Proudfoot-Nalder. So we are ready to go for the first of 3 races here this weekend from the Wera Tools F4 British Championship. There was just 1 grid penalty after qualifying, a 3-place drop for Georgia's Mate Kobakhidze. And with the grid complete, we are almost ready for race 1 here at Silverstone for the F4 British Championship. Long wait for the drivers at the front of the grid. Heat rising in their cooling systems, heat disappearing from their tyres, the revs rise, the blue nose, George Proudfoot does not get away at all, stalls the car, he's trying to get it fired up, there's lockups behind as people race towards him, already speeds into 3 figures as they realise there's a stationary car, somebody's lost a nose ring and damaged the left front suspension.
That was Joseph Smith in 15, but I think those cars made contact, didn't they, trying to get past the stalled cars, so whether they've all got away, not sure at this point.
Lewis Wherrell is our race leader then, so he's got a great chance to bag maximum points here with the dark blue and the yellow highlights. That's Emma Felbermayr. So easy to pick out in the middle of this snarling pack of cars.
So Jeff Hall up to 2nd, I think, which is a great start from him if that's the case. Started from 5th and had to get around the stalled car. Big battle pack down towards Stowe Corner. And is that Lewis Wherrell? Yes, it's in the lead, isn't it? But side by side for 2nd place. Round the outside goes 7. Theo Palmer right round the outside of the fast starting Ethan Jeff Hall, who cuts back through Club Corner and gets 2nd position back. Great for the race in between the pair.
And right behind them is Dries Van Langendonck with the orange McLaren colours, car number 51. So 2 rookies, 1st and 4th place. Again, just a handful of races in their car racing careers. You can be a hugely experienced kart racer, and a number of them are champions in karts, but a car is a very different beast, and the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit is definitely not the same as a kart circuit either. It's a great start from Lewis Wherrell, and he's making good use of it as well. He is definitely building that advantage. We've got 1 very slow car towards the tail of the field.
I think that was Joseph Smith who lost that front wing we saw immediately from the start. But Lewis Wherrell, what a first lap he has had. He won twice at Snetterton last time out, the 16-year-old from Lincolnshire in the UK, pulling clear up front from Ethan Jeff Hall, Theo Palmer and Dries Van Langendonck.
Yeah, Lincoln not too far at all from Snetterton as the crows fly. It's probably the biggest town nearby if you don't come from Ipswich. And lots of close racing still at the end of the first lap, but Lewis Wherrell out front and going away, head down and charging. What a golden opportunity for him. This 20-minute race, the first of 3 this weekend for British F4, and Lewis Wherrell into the Beckett's S's. No pressure other than from inside his own helmet. Nobody close enough to challenge. Ethan Jeff Hall in 2nd place. Little bobble there from Timo Jungling, another of the JHR Developments cars, the dark cars with the red highlights, and side by side this is going to go 4 wide, 5 wide, maybe down the Hangar Straight. Fantastic slipstreaming racing in front, but look at this, what a knot of cars.
Looks like Tommy Harfield has come to the front of the group in 21. It was Cole Hewitson in 33 who had a big slide on the previous corner. Lloyd trying to come around the outside of the pair in the 2nd of the McLaren Junior liveried cars. But what a battle it is, with 6 or 7 cars right together as they turn into the Vale.
Yeah, red and white Arden car of Kit Belofsky, a Fortec car rather than Kit Belofsky. So just hanging on there, and that is the battle for 15th position. So all arms and elbows for every position here. And on the timing pylon on the left, the little turquoise squares around the numbers, those represent the rookies.
Many rookies as non-rookies in the top 10, aren't they, to show you how good they are immediately into car racing. Big dive up the inside there. And that's Emma Lloyd is losing her place, isn't it?
Little lock-up from Emma Lloyd. She was behind Emma Felbermayr early on in the first lap, and she's got ahead of her, but this battle side by side. The second of the McLaren cars looked like it had the advantage there, but on the inside line, coming down the straight, the Wellington Straight, it's a harder line to attack on than it is to defend on. And still plenty going on here. Just saw the battle for 18th place. Ethan Lennon, one of the Rodin Motorsport cars, just hanging on to that position. Long way from the points, but you never know what's going to happen here. And the whole point here is this about building your racing knowledge, building your racing skills. Winning the championship is all well and good, but only one person's going to do that. Everybody else is hopefully going to learn. Ethan Jeff Hall now with real close company from behind. Theo Palmer in the silver high-tech car, right in his wheel tracks, trying to tow his way up into Copse Corner, looking for a way through, but Josh just can't quite make a difference.
Behind Van Langendonck, I think, he's not just dropped away from them, but possibly lost fourth position to Jaber Altabar, who started way back on the grid in 10th place, and if he's up to fourth now, that's been an excellent run from him.
And he's just dived through, I think, as you were talking about it, he has, with that sort of pink and white livery. Altabar just completed that at the end of the Vale, and Van Langendonck, I don't think he had any contact with when the poleman didn't get away. Looked like he got away cleanly, but again, there's so much going on here. When you use your tyres, tyre pressures are going to be so important on a really hot track here at Silverstone, and so yeah, if you can hang on, great, but if you just get that slightly wrong, and the Rodin Motorsport team have got plenty of knowledge. Belgian driver is not matching the front runners for pace, and in fact coming up behind him is Jarrett Clark, the Virtuosi racing machine. Virtuosi with those blue highlights on the top of the car, just like here, Ethan Jeff Hall's machine.
Of course, for Van Langendonck, he is the championship leader, but the closest person to him in the championship is the race leader. Lewis Wherrell come into the weekend 29 points behind, but Wherrell is way out front, continuing off where he left at Sefton. He's 4 seconds ahead of this battle for second place between Jeff Hall and Palmer.
Of course, the real problem is you don't get bonus points for winning by much.
No.
You can win by 4 tenths, 4 hundredths, 4 thousandths, or 4 seconds, and the points differential is the same. You do get extra points for maximum places gained in race 2. You do get a point for fastest lap in each race, and that is currently going to, you'll be surprised to hear, our race leader Lewis Wherrell, and 2 points for the fastest time in the qualifying sessions. So those are lost to Lewis Wherrell, but he's currently got the point for fastest lap and he leads the race, and so on at the moment for a 26-point haul. And Ethan Jeff Hall behind, it'll be FIA points all the way down through to 1 point for 10th place, and the race 2 grid with the reverse grid, old-fashioned Formula 1 points, starting with 10 points for first place down to 1 for 8th.
Van Langendonck's dropping away a bit more, isn't he, from Altabar and into Jarrett Clark's clutches. A bit odd what's happened to Van Langendonck here, because he was battling for second, third and fourth in those first couple of laps, but now dropping away. The championship leader, the 15-year-old, in his first ever car race at Donington Park, was on pole on his 15th birthday, remarkably. Wow. About 6 months or so ago now, I guess, but still one of the younger drivers on the grid. However, this race isn't really going to plan.
Makes me feel quite old that Max Chilton was it started his career in British F3 on his 16th birthday, probably 15 years ago now, I think. So again, many of these drivers are still in their mid-teens, and so making time at the weekends to race in an international category and with top flight opposition, and then going back to school for Monday morning.
It's great to see the championship in such good health, though, isn't it? It's back to the best of British single-seater racing as ever was the case going back through the decades.
Yeah, you look back 20, 30 years, British F3 would have had a similar sort of volume of entries, and that was the top flight single-seater motorsport category in the country. Into the pit lane, unfortunately, has come car number 20, Joseph Smith. So Virtuosi Racing will have something to do with, for him. That was the car that lost its wing on the first lap, wasn't it?
Remarkably, though, I think everyone else continued up to what looked like quite a bit of contact off the line. They looked like there was a car off the ground, but that continued without too much drama, it seems.
Well, the good thing about single-seaters is that if you touch wheels with somebody else, you can often ride up their tyre and land without actually taking anything off the car. Probably it's not feeling like it's very keen on turning in one direction compared to the other, but you've got what you've got. What, you know, in practice you be straight into the pits. In a race, you race what you're given.
This is very unlike F4 racing this year. Someone driving away from the pack like Lewis Wherrell is here. 5 seconds ahead of Ethan Jeff Hall is the JHR Developments driver, just 16 years of age. Lewis Wherrell, former karting champion, as so many have been, but really put in his mark on the championship after winning twice at Snetterton just last weekend.
And each lap is getting quicker. Quickest lap again last time round, 203.6, the only person in the 203s, and that's 8/10 quicker than Ethan Jeff Hall in second. Jeff Hall does have Palmer for company, and so can't take the perfect racing line, and you can understand why he's losing that time. But Al Sabah is definitely bridging the gap, isn't he? He's breaking away. 5-second penalty for a jump start for Al Sabah. That's possibly explains why he was further up the order than perhaps we might have anticipated.
Yeah, that'd be disappointing for him. Not disappointing for Dries Van Langendonck, because that gets him one of those positions back that he has lost, unless he falls more than 5 seconds back, which would seem unlikely in the second half of the race, but he's not catching the car ahead. However, he is pulling away now from Jarrett Clark. There's a second between them. In 11th position is car number 11, rather handedly, which is Cash Felbermayr, outside of the points. It's Chiara Battig, the quick young Swiss racer who has made her debut in the championship this year.
Right, who's that gone off in a cloud of dust? It's one of our rookies, and that is the Georgian driver who started at the back of the grid, Mate Kobakhidze.
This might not be unrelated. There's damage to the front of Ella Lloyd's car.
So where were they?
18th and 19th.
Yeah, 18th and 19th. He was just ahead of her, so it looks as though there may have been contact between the two. That was early in the lap as well.
Doesn't stop Ella Lloyd trying to challenge the car ahead into Stowe Corner, which is George Proudford-Nalder.
Yeah, who was our pole sitter, so recovering gradually from the back of the grid. There is the Georgian driver out of the car. That's the country, not the state.
Battle here includes Leon Hedfors and Kit Belofsky. They are battling, I think, outside the points as well, but they're battling as hard as anybody else out there.
Yeah, Belofsky with the red and white, and Hedfors just in front. Belofsky coming under pressure from behind. Cameron Nelson. I beg your pardon, not 22-32. Ethan Lennon, the Rodin Motorsport driver.
With that car off at Cox Corner, we're going to get a safety car at the end of the lap. There it is. So that big lead that Lewis Wherrell has pulled out of over 5 seconds is going to come to nothing, and I wonder what he's done to those tyres, pushing on so hard in the first 12 minutes of the race.
Yeah. Well, the car does need to be recovered. If one car can go off there, then so can another. So our safety car is out. Black and white flag being shown to another of our rookies. It's car number 44 that is off in the gravel. Okay, yeah, he did exceed track limits there, but on the other hand, not necessarily through any fault of his own. So safety car will wait for the leader, Lewis Wherrell, to catch him up. And in fact, the gap's already come down at the last sector from nearly 4 seconds to just 1 second ahead of Ethan Jeff Hall. And he'll have to do it all again. The advantage, of course, is that he gets to decide when he drops the throttle and goes, when the safety car peels off, and there's only 6 minutes 45 remaining as of now, and so we will probably have maybe a couple of laps by the time they have recovered the car there. Cars don't often go off at Cops Corner quite so close to the gap in the barriers. It might be possible they're going to have to get it out the gravel first. I was going to say it might be possible to push it back, but seems unlikely. So at the start, watch the car on the right-hand side of the front row of the grid. It went nowhere. Absolute disaster for George Proudfort-Nalder, and also there as well for Cameron Nelson, who lost his nose, and you can actually see it didn't lose it. He carried it under the car, didn't he? He got buried there.
Yeah, and it was Joseph Smith who launched off the ground. So it was he, the one that we saw up in the air, and when he landed, the front wing didn't last any longer. So that went flying. Everyone else did a good job to avoid the stalled car. It has to be said with such a big grid, but for Joseph Smith, that caused him to come into the pits. And he didn't rejoin, possibly with more damage than just the front wing, and hopefully his back's okay as well with a big landing like that.
Yeah, there may have been all sorts of other corroborating evidence that the team spotters were going, okay. I mean, apart from anything else, you're going to rejoin 2 or 3 laps down, so it becomes a glorified test session in which you run the danger of getting in the way of everybody else, so probably best not to for the handful of laps. So car already in the air and heading back behind the barriers. Lights remain on the safety car. And do they go off as they come past that tarmac road on the left-hand side? That will be the end of timing sector 2, but they stay on. So we should have 1 more lap of safety car, and that will eat at least 3 precious minutes out of the race, maybe more.
Be a 1 lap dash to
green white checker, except we won't get the white flag. We will go green and white. It would, I would think, be the final lap of the race by the time they're released from behind the safety car, just because time will have elapsed. So we have completed 6 laps so far of this first race of the weekend for 2026 F4 British Championship. And our pole sitter currently in 20th position, not remotely what George Proudfort-Nalder would have hoped for from his afternoon's work.
Unsurprisingly, Lloyd's making her way down the pit lane with her broken front wing. She was in 16th position at that point.
Yeah, I can't. Well, you know, she might only have needed to survive 1 extra lap. We haven't been alerted to the fact that she's been shown a black and orange flag. The team may have been, it just may not have come up on the timing system, but I would have thought, okay, she's a long way out of the points, and again, it becomes slightly rhetorical, doesn't it, whether or not you do 1 further lap behind the safety car and then 1 green flag lap. I think probably risking more than it could possibly yield you.
Even worse news for Alba is this bunching of the pack, because that 5-second penalty probably push him outside the points, depending on how the 1 lap dash goes. Ella Lloyd's got a new front wing on board, and she's not hanging about to catch the safety car queue up.
Right, 3 minutes to go, and we are still under safety car. So Alba is 1.4 seconds behind the leader, 6.4 seconds behind the leader is 11th place. I think you are right, unless he's very lucky and stroke or very quick away from the restart. And I think Alba may drop outside the top 10 and below where he started. Alba with a start that was very good, and in fact just a little too good for the likings of the stewards. And of course these days, with transponders on the cars that are extremely accurate, it's not down to the naked eye. The Mark 1 human eyeball may spot things, but the timing system will flash up with a big warning light if you jump the start.
At Snetterton last weekend, when Lewis Wherrell did a restart, which we're about to see, the first restart, the top 4 were the closest you've ever seen at the line, where the second time round, I think he learned from that mistake and made a much better restart. So I wonder if further learning has been done over the last weekend, and perhaps looking back at that with his driver coach to see how he can do better this time out.
Now, he is still very close behind the safety car. Now he's dropped back and the safety car lights are off, so we do go green this time round, and there will be around 1 minute and 20 seconds, maybe less, by the time they get to the line to start what will then be the final lap of the race. This is a time certain race. 20 minutes is the maximum allowed time. So Lewis Wherrell, car number 10 with the yellow backing to the numbers, is our race leader. Behind him, Ethan Jeff Hall, and Wherrell gets the hammer down immediately in Luffield. It's hard to make a difference here. He could have done with a nice handy chicane that he could have gunned it out of, while everybody else was on the brakes. And Ethan Jeff Hall under threat from second place. Theo Palmer is right behind him, looking to go outside into Kopp's corner. And that's not going to work, but he's really pushing hard. Last lap of the race.
Down towards Beckett's they go. Was that Palmer's best opportunity, or is there more to come? Beckett's isn't really an overtaking opportunity in these cars unless you can get alongside through Maggots, and wide goes Jeff Hall up the curb.
And Theo Palmer is right with him, and now it goes to his advantage. He does take second place. Al-Sabah is right with them, but with a 5-second penalty that didn't drop him out of contention. So it's Van Langendonck, Clark, Al-Azari and Youngling chasing along in the train behind Theo Palmer. Now, last chance possibly here to retake the place for Ethan Jeff Hall. Goes the long way around the outside at Stowe. They've got to keep it clean. There's a big accident waiting if they tangle wheels. He's on the inside, down into the Vale. He retakes second position. What a great final lap from these two. And the perfect place to see it is Jabal Al-Sabah right behind, but he's trying to get involved. He's trying to come alongside now. And this might work well for Van Langendonck, the orange McLaren colours, as Jeff Hall and Palmer and Al-Sabah are perilously close at high speed here at Silverstone.
Lewis Wherrell's pulled a long way clear once again because of the great battling pack that's happening behind. Dries Van Langendonck trying to go around the outside of the car that's got a penalty, doesn't want to get involved in an accident here though, but I think he might have made that work. Brooklands is still another overtaking opportunity to come.
Al-Sabah on the outside, and Van Langendonck has got through. I think he'll stay there on the inside, have the inside line at the end of the Wellington Straight. Ethan Jeff Hall still just ahead of Theo Palmer. Palmer looking outside, inside, over the top. Oh, and there's contact between them. This could work very well for Van Langendonck as long as Al-Jabbar doesn't make contact on the inside. It is still going to be a runaway win. What a great day, a start to the weekend for Lewis Wherrell as he takes victory in race 1 here at Silverstone. And across the line in second place, Jeff Hall just ahead of Van Langendonck by inches, 14 hundredths of a second, the differential between them, and that's the nose to the front of the tyre. Wow, and Al-Azari coming through in 4th, ahead of Clark and Youngling. Theo Palmer getting shuffled back on the last lap, down to 7th place.
And because they were so close, Al-Sabah dropped all the way to 17th with his 5-second penalty.
Wow.
Second through to 12th place was separated by just 3 seconds at the line. It was quite the end to that one lap dash was very exciting indeed for everyone other than Lewis Wherrell, but it was a perfect run, a perfect race for Lewis Wherrell. Although he wasn't on pole, it was a lights to flag victory.
Yeah, it really was. And talking of our pole, City finished 21st, Proudford-Nalder, so not the ideal day for him. A long way from points. And actually into the points as well. We sort of surmised that she might do. Slipping into the points was Karabatic. So the Swiss driver in 10th place grabs the final spot.
And beats her Red Bull Junior teammate, Scott Kin Lindblom, by 1/10 of a second.
There you go. Every 10th counts. And fastest lap of the race, so bonus point going to Lewis Wherrell as well. That wasn't after the restart. Actually, his restart lap was a 2 minutes 3.92. His fastest race lap at 2 minutes 3.69. So he wasn't exactly going slowly away from the restart either. So there you go, Lewis Wherrell, after our pole sitter George Proudford-Nalder stalled on the line, led every inch of the way. Ethan Jeff Hall hung on in a frantic restarted final lap ahead of Van Langendonck for the final podium spot. And then behind them, coming up the order well, Jarrett Clark finishing in 4th place, Adam Al-Azari in 5th position. Theo Palmer, though, having started 3rd and being 2nd on a couple of occasions on the final lap, ended up 7th as the final waters swept away. And then in 8th place, Cameron Nelson. And outside the top 10, the rest of our finishers in what was a pretty busy afternoon of action for the Wera Tools F4 British Championship.
Lewis Wherrell became the first driver to win 3 races this season. He's done it all in a week because he won the 2 at Snetterton, which was just last weekend, and now a race winner here at Silverstone for the young British driver. The 16-year-old climbs out of his car, gets on top of his car, and the traditional number 1 salute from our race winner, the JHR Developments driver.
Well, great work from the team and driver. It's always a combination of everything, isn't it? Car being on the money, driver being on the money, and for the car to be right, particularly at this stage of your career, you really rely on the team. Younger drivers, particularly relatively fresh from karting. Yes, he did a bit of F4 racing in the winter in Saudi Arabia, but as a kart champion, you really rely on your engineer to tell you what a good car should be doing. Because at this stage of their career, very few of them have that knowledge. That will come. So Lewis Wherrell, the winner, Ethan Jeff Hall in second position, and the Belgian Dries Van Langendonck completing the podium.
In the first round of the championship, Lewis Wherrell finished 30th. He's
Wow.
come on a long way in just a few weeks, hasn't he? He was in the top 6 at Brands Hatch and now has been a 3-time race winner, as we were saying, within the last 7 days. He qualified 11th at Donington, 10th at Brands Hatch, and now has been the driver to beat. And let's hear from him with Matt Sutcliffe.
With our race winner, Lewis Wherrell. Lewis, what a form it's been for you lately. 2 wins at Snetterton and a first win here at Silverstone to start the weekend. Well done.
Thank you. Means a lot. Didn't get the qualifying we wanted to, but that gave me more hope for the races. So I had to push harder to try and win. And we used our new tyres now because tomorrow the weather's a bit all over the place. So yeah, got the tyres in quickly, took the leads off the start after George stalled, which is really unfortunate for him. And then after that, just pulled away, managed the tyres, and then the safety car came out quite towards the end, and then I knew it was critical for the restart to be on point, and I managed to do that and pulled 3.8 seconds. So yeah, well done to all the team and myself.
Yeah, you got a good start, didn't you, after the restart, because the cars behind were battling, which always helps, but you just put your head down and got on with it.
Yeah, I pulled away just before the safety car, and then the last lap I was looking in my mirrors for most of it, to be honest, because I saw they were battling quite hard. But yeah, well done to Dries and Ethan as well on the podiums. Yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings.
And what is it with the recent rounds? Is something clicked with the car or something in terms of setup just helped you out recently?
I think I'm just learning weekend by weekend, just how the car works. Yeah, for sure we've developed the setup to be as good as possible. And yeah, we've managed to do that, so really happy.
Good stuff. Well, Lewis, congratulations. Good luck for tomorrow as well. We'll get Ethan Jeff Hall into the picture as well. Ethan, come and join us over here, second place within the race. Yeah, stick your overalls on, good boy. Well done, second place there. It was a bit fighty towards the end, wasn't it, on that last lap?
Yeah, it was very difficult. Obviously, I really struggled for grip after the restart, so it made the last lap interesting, but managed to hold on to second. The start was really good. Got from 5th to 2nd by the first corner, so yeah, good start to the weekend.
Never good to see a car stopped in front of you. You managed to get through that okay then and got your head down.
Yeah, obviously there's a staller in front, so just managed to avoid it. Had to go left. It was close. Never actually been in a position like that before, so yeah, I mean, managed it well. Got to 2nd, and unfortunately Lewis was too quick, so couldn't catch him.
We've got the reverse grid race tomorrow to look forward to, so you've got to make up a few places to try and get to the front as quick as possible.
Yeah, obviously we went from 5th to 2nd there, so starting a bit further back. If we can have another good start like that, then hopefully we can have some good races.
Good stuff. Good race, Ethan. Congratulations to you on 2nd. And we'll grab a quick word with Dries Van Langendonck, who is behind us. So we'll grab Reese in for a quick word. Dries, well done on that last lap. It all kind of worked in your favour. You got a nice 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean, good last lap. I didn't quite have the pace, and also had an incident at the start. So yeah, good last lap, but P3, still some work to do.
And what a circuit to race on this weekend. Plenty of opportunities to overtake, which is always nice around the Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really nice track to drive on, and I'm enjoying my time. Just, need to find a bit more space, but I'm sure me and the team will find it at the end.
Yeah, it'll be a positive day tomorrow. Well done, Dries.
Thank you.
There we go, Dries Van Langendonck, who finished in third place. We've got a podium coming your way very shortly. We'll round up the drivers and we'll take them over where everyone could join us this weekend to celebrate with the 3 drivers and, of course, our rookie top 3 as well to look forward to.
Well, that was a busy final lap indeed, and it did sort of surmise going into the Beckett's S's that Van Langendonck might have been in a position where it all came towards him. I mean, the unfortunate Theo Palmer is really the guy who lost out there, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely, and it just was unfortunate. It's so many times they went side by side on that last lap, and it just happened at Brookland. It was a little bit of touch in maybe with Ethan Jeff Hall, and he ran out wide, and they were so close in behind. It meant he didn't lose just one position, but he lost several and dropped back. But I think everyone else is going to be asking questions what they can do about Lewis Wherrell heading into tomorrow.
Well, really interesting that Lewis Wherrell was suggesting that maybe the weather tomorrow might be a little bit different, and so they bolted on fresh tyres straight away. And actually, again, this is all part of where the team and the driver work together. You're only going to have one of these 3 races where you're going to have a new set of tyres. So where do you use them? Well, if you qualified at the front row of the grid, that's a pretty decent time to use them. If you're further back, you're going to spend more time in traffic, and there, that new tyre edge in the first 2 or 3 laps, you're not going to have that, and so maybe that's a good time to do it. And of course, you've got 2 races coming up tomorrow. First race starts at 10:15 British Summer Time, 09:15 GMT, so wherever you are across the world, you can catch up with all the action on the Silverstone YouTube channel for that one. And race 3 of the weekend will be for the International Trophy, and that will be at 3:50 in the afternoon local time, and that is 14:50 Greenwich Mean Time, so you can convert that into your own time zone. We will wait now for our drivers to clamber up the stairs in the Jimmy Brown Centre and head to the podium. At least I hope they are, and they're not coming all the way over to the other side of the circuit to the wing for the Formula 1 podium, because we could be here until a week on Wednesday if that's the case. So we will wait for them to head up onto the podium. So Lewis Wherrell, not quite sure what the weather forecast. Now going to have to consult the oracles, aren't we, at Meteo Chance and see what we've got.
I thought at one point it didn't look so good, but last time I looked, I thought Sunday was fine, but maybe they decided to roll their luck and get the win at least on Saturday here at Silverstone.
Well, I definitely think that if you're starting on the front row of the grid, you've got a really good opportunity to use that tyre. If you're maybe 6th or below, you know you're not going to be out in clear air. You know you're going to be following a bunch of cars, and that edge is going to disappear. Of course, if you think 6th is your best qualifying position you're likely to get all weekend, then absolutely go for that. And of course, the reverse grid race 2, that's going to make a difference as well to those tyre choices. So if you are sort of further down in the order and expecting to be at the sharp end in race 2, then that's where you bring in that fresher tyre.
I think they're starting with the rookie awards, and then they'll move on to the overall top 3. So the podium presentations beginning here at Silverstone. I think we can hear from Matt Suckling.
To the other side and to the top step of our podium for the rookie class, Lewis Wherrell. Well done, Lewis. Congratulations to the youngster who makes his way to the top step of the podium. He receives the biggest of our trophies for the rookie class. So our top 3 are posing for the photos down here. They'll gather together as much as they can on the top step of the podium for a lovely group photo for our top 3 in the rookie class, and then we'll have our top 3 overall to do as well. So another round of applause for our top 3. Great to have a lovely crowd down here as well to join us for this one. We'll now move on with our top 3 overall. So we'll welcome up in 3rd place back onto the podium, Dries Van Langendonck. Well done, Dries. So the rookie trophy goes down. He's got another one to look forward to, and again, Charles Grattan will do the presentation for our 3rd place driver. 2nd place in the race goes away of Ethan Jeff Hall. Congratulations to Ethan. So again, goes to the far end of the podium, and Charles will do the presentation for Ethan as well. And then we'll have our biggest trophy of all for the first race of the weekend here at Silverstone, our race winner for the 3rd time this year, Lewis Wherrell. Well done, Lewis. Congratulations to him. He's now well on his way to heading towards the top of the championship. Charles Grattan for the final time, our motorsport events manager for for Silverstone Circuits does that presentation of the trophy. And we'll have our winning team representative, which is going to be JHR Development. So well done to JHR. They'll pick up the trophy as well. And we'll get all of the drivers with the team and also with Charles with a lovely group photo together. And what a backdrop it makes with all the drivers down here. But congratulations, a big cheer for our three once again and our winning team as they make their way to the top step together for that group photo. And they are your podium presentations for what is round 10 of the Wera British F4 Championship, certified by FIA.
We're going to have to do a little bit of quick maths. Dries Van Langendonck will still be our championship leader from Lewis Wherrell, but first and third, that gap will have closed. Ethan Jeff Hall jumps Scott Kin Lindblom into third place in the standings. Race 1 of 3 completed here at Silverstone for the Wera F4 British Championship, and we will be back with F4 tomorrow morning, 10:15 local, 09:15 GMT. Join us then, live from Silverstone.